Hello, friends, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Friends, if you remember, I'd made a video on entrepreneurship skills, and today I'm continuing with that, but on specific demand. People have written to me, and I've also thought that it's important to continue the same module for one more video. Just that today I'm going to talk a little more about startups. So let me share my screen with all of you because I have prepared a presentation. Uh, so we're continuing with the second module of entrepreneurship. Today, we're going to talk about very important things about startups. Look, if you are thinking of a startup, please watch this video. If you have already started a startup, watch this video. And if you have grown a startup to an extent, you're thinking of scaling up, watch this video. And also, if you're an entrepreneur of any kind, please watch this video. Or else, please share, like, and do recommend this to your friends who may find it useful for them. So let me start this episode of the Pep Talk once again with me, Sudip Nag, your friend, guide, trainer, mentor, brother, captain, whatever you can call him. So the question is, are you building a product or something that you want to start up? So that service or product, are you building it for customers? Or are you building your product and service that you would like to avail or for yourself, your needs? Which of these two? That's a very interesting question. Now, if you have a good idea, yes, that's a very good reason to do a startup. But most importantly, the product, like this question is asking, is it built for yourself? Then I think you are on the right path of starting a startup. Do you have a team? Have you thought about it? What kind of team you want? Then definitely, again, you're on the correct path. Execution. How are you going to execute your idea, your product, get customers who need that product, and a team that will work closely to upscale your endeavor? Execution. Who can start up? Only young people, is it? Old people, can they start up? They're already old. Inexperienced people, they don't know anything about this particular entrepreneurship or startups or solutions or processes. Can they start? Experienced people, I think that's a better idea, isn't it? Let me tell you, every one of you can do a startup, provided you go back to the previous slide. You have an idea, you have a good product, you have a good team, and you know how to execute it. Do you have a mission, or is it a only money-making machine you're thinking of? Then none of your team members are going to be motivated really for a long time. Because last video I spoke that startups is not easy. It's got its ups and downs, and it takes persistence. So without a mission, very difficult to sustain it and go through that dip, if you remember that curve. So do you have a mission? Do you? Okay. Good idea, bad idea. People will tell you that's not a good idea. You think it's a good idea. So that is where you come in as a startup. It's not about just a good idea or a bad idea. Sometimes unpopular ideas, people who don't think that this can work, taking it into account that how can that particular idea work. So somewhere in between the good and people, what they say is a bad idea, I think is your idea of a startup. Validate your product, validate your market, and understand, who are the customers exactly need this product, and the services, and what is the market size, and what is the market like? Is it the right time to start, or should I wait for a while? So all these things are important. Start with something simple. Don't think of big changing the world ideas at first go. I think every company that's made it big, Flipkart, Uber, urban companies, Swiggy, Paytm, they had something very simple. Even if you see Microsoft's idea of starting their business, if you go through what they think of a business, I think their idea was to keep it simple. And I believe even the Tatas always try to make things simple. If you see their products, it's a common man can connect to it the idea very quickly and then go upwards. So that is how you think big, not think big and then come down, to something that the market wants. So that would be really demotivating. Now, how do you look at risk? It's important as a entrepreneur, as a person who's doing a startup. Do you look at risk as again, I talked about this in the last video, like calculative risk. People are not fools. So there are risks, and understanding the risk and having the belly to take that risk, but of course in a calculative manner, in a manner which is informed manner. That is important. Find co-founders. You see all the big startups, they definitely have co-founders. They've made their team a part of their startup. The idea is not belonging only to a person or two. I think it's important to find co-founders who bring into the table not just expertise in technical or business or finance, but also charisma and positivity, and support your thought process. So all these things are important. Just working alone or in a small group, I think that's not a good idea for a startup. Quality bar, it's important as a startup. The basic difference will be the quality. If you can think of raising a quality, maintaining a quality, then I think you are in the right track, because quality bar, raising it to an extent for your startup, will definitely position you very rightly in the market. Now you see that curve I'm talking about. That is the curve that you will face, as an entrepreneur, even in startups. So there is this process, create, release, morph, model, scale, harvest. So it then goes up, but the initial thing is like dip, is always a part of a startup. Success, what people think versus how it actually happens. So it's not something that you think of in a straight line, like one after the other in a sequence it happens, and then you become big. No. So it's back and forth process, front and back, left and right. So it's not really a straight line. In fact, it's pretty much a complex process to pursue. A day in a life of an entrepreneur. Again, you see, I already talked about this, and I believe people who've experienced this know this. And only thing is that if you don't know this, you feel that it's unfair on me, what's going on. But actually, this is how it is. Sometimes you're up there full of exuberance, energy, excitement, and then it goes down and up and down and up. So it's a part of entrepreneurship and a startup. Expect the unexpected, because look, that is where a startup is great, because the idea is not expecting what is expected, then you really don't work out in the market. So having that thing of expecting the unexpected, and also giving it to the customers, I think that is the challenge, and the key. Segmenting customers, again, who are your customers, what do they want, and is your product catering to that particular segment. So understanding the customer and trying to segment them is important. Otherwise you build product what others want. User feedback, very important, and the faster you get it, the better it is, because then you can work on it, especially in IT solutions and anything to do with AI, data science. I think user feedback or user interfaces, so it's very important. Also other services and products, when you do a startup, take feedback, and take fast feedback. Risk matrix, I think this is a entire chapter in itself, but pretty exciting one, because identifying the risk, assessing the risk, controlling the risk, reviewing the control, extreme risk, low risk, high risk, moderate risk, that makes you as an entrepreneur and a startup more, having that control and calculating in terms of taking risk. look at yourself in the mirror, look at yourself, reflect, at times reflect, go back, reflect, and grow with the company, because we have seen a lot of companies who have done a great job with that idea, and they've done a superb job, startups, but somewhere they sort of pass it on to someone or sell their organizations because they've not grown, the organization has outgrown them. So that is important, that you grow with the organization. So these are various steps, like from an innovator you become an entrepreneur, then you become a builder of the product, the service, the company, the organization, the people, and then to the operator who really works on spreading it and sort of scaling it up. Like you talk about Louis Vuitton, or you talk about Gucci, even you talk about Tommy Hilfiger. How many stores they had, how many stores they had when they started up. So look at those companies, look at you know Amazon, what did they start off with? Look at SpaceX, for that matter. So look at all these companies which have made it big, like all the IT companies. Look at Infosys. So it's a classic example of Infosys, where the founder grew with the organization. I think that's a very good and interesting case study you can take. All the startups started small. Uber, YouTube. Think about YouTube 10 years back. Canva of late, Byju's, Flipkart, we all know that. Urban Company, Zoom Car, wow, what an idea. I mean, Paytm, it's really changed the way money transfer happens. Oyo, about the hospitality sector. This really started off small, and most of these organizations went through all these steps. As we speak, in the pandemic also, many of them have faced a lot of challenges here, but I think if you overall look, most of them have done very well. In fact, some of them now are doing right up there with the very best globally, mind you, globally. 4 steps or mistakes that a startup should avoid, a founder or a people in the start. Scaling up too fast. Don't get excited. Just take it easy, because when you scale up and then you don't have that project from the client, and then to scale it down, that's not good, because if you invested in people, what do you do with them? Believing 51% control is control, of the share of the company. 1% share sold is you have variable ideas coming in. So there is no point securing your 51%. It's about the organization. It's then about scaling it up and operating it in a large scale. So I don't think this really is a good sign. Hiring people who agree with you all the time, again, that happens. It somewhere happens that you sort of don't like people who disagree with you, but trust me, organizations have succeeded who would question, who would give feedback, who would have this employee-employer relationship, which is full of back and forth processes. I think that is what you want. You don't want everybody to walk in the same path. Working under the umbrella of a big organization, again, then you are acting like an employee of that big organization, like a third party or something. So then you don't build your own product, you actually cater to the needs of their clients. So that's not a very good sign to really grow. And invariably, these kind of organization don't have this exponential growth really. So that's all from me on this video. I hope that it has been useful for you, and you are going to share it. And of course, you like it and you comment on it. Thank you so much, and keep watching the Pep Talk. And great luck for your future. Be well, be safe. Until next time, goodbye, and keep smiling.